Good morning. Happy Friday. And hello, everyone. Okay, so we have part 3 of the Rachel sit down with Bethenny Frankel that we're about to break down for you. Now, that came out at 7 a.m. this morning over here on the East Coast, which is 4 a.m. on the West Coast. And I think it's 5 a.m. there now. We literally just woke up, listened to it, and I'm like, there's no time for anything. We just wanted to get it out to you so you could hear the major points if you haven't listened to it yet. So before we jump in, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And Jason and I are doing a full live today at 12 p.m. Eastern to break it all down. We will pin that link in the comments. With that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Okay, let's get into this. Now, we start off with Bethenny mentioning a pill bottle being thrown at the reunion. And she said that, Andy told Variety he thought Rachel was medicated. Rachel said that I am medicated. But the way that Andy said it feels like he violated HIPAA law. That's a big statement. Wow, okay. Wow, Bethenny, wow. Bethenny said it's not legal for an employer in any workplace to talk about this in some way. This has all become sort of normal. And it's like the reality talent, like it's like a circus. Like it's become normal. She said even strip clubs, they have workplace like rules. But in this case, it seems like there are none. At the reunion, Raquel was promised a mental health advocate in her trailer and for after the reunion, but it was taken away from her because the TMZ nail salon situation. You guys remember when the paparazzi walked up to Raquel and it felt so staged, like, hey, Raquel, you're sitting out here on one single chair. And I'm not buying that it wasn't staged. It was definitely staged. But she said because of that, she was punished and they took away her mental health advocate, which is, interesting and wild. That's a wild accusation. She said that she was punished for it, right? And then she had someone from there, after she went into the Meadows, she had this girl. So she's at the Meadows, right? She goes in and she has this girl who noticed her, but the girl had been in there for a couple of months. But she knew her from the show, just didn't know that Scandival was going on. And Raquel ended up bonding with this girl, talking to her, telling her what happened, why she's there, breaking it all down. And then the next day, the first day that the girl is out of the Meadows, right? She ends up leaving. The very first thing she did was expose the fact that Raquel was there, which Raquel also said that's a violation of her privacy. Okay. Now, from there, Rachel's team told Bravo, I love how I'm bouncing back and forth between Raquel and Rachel. Rachel's team told Bravo where she was and that they wouldn't dispel any of the rumors because the spa concept was more salacious. So pretty much after the whole Miraval stuff came out and everybody was talking about the fact that she was at a spa, Peter Madrigal said it. There are a few people who said she's at a spa. Okay. Well, she had her team reach out to Bravo and say, Raquel is not at a spa. No, Raquel is in a mental health facility. We have the document showing she is at the Meadows, right? Well, Bravo didn't go from there and put an end to this narrative. And in Raquel's mind, she thinks it's because the idea that she was at a spa instead of seeking mental health treatment, that made for a better narrative. It made for a more salacious narrative. All right. Bethenny said that there's been rumors about Raquel joining the reckoning, the reality reckoning of it all. And she asked, now that Bravo's heard about this, have they changed their tune? Have they started treating you any different? And she's like, yeah, well, all of a sudden, it's so crazy that you asked that, Bethenny, which obviously she knew that Bethenny was going to ask that, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But she said, it's so funny that you asked that, Bethenny, because yes, they called and they offered me security at my home because I'm staying at my parents' home in Arizona. But when I was getting death threats, I never got security. Nothing. She said, I'm broke now. we had to contact the FBI. We were getting crazy threats. My mom, my dad, my sister, me, and nobody offered me security then. But now that Bethenny's doing this reality reckoning, she feels, this would be Rachel, that Bravo is changing their tune and they're like, oh, let us help you. Let us show that we've helped you. All right. She also said that Lala used the merch because the merch was brought up by Bethenny. Bethenny said, how do you feel like when you see this merch that's going out and, all of your cast members making a lot of money off of this? And she said, well, specifically the Send It to Daryl merch, like I had to send a cease and desist to all of my cast members. And it was kind of like a cease and desist, like, you better not say anything about me. Don't talk about this video, all of that. And that's when Lala was like, don't send me shit like this, girl. Instead, if you got something and it's a legal letter, I don't have time for this shit. That's why I have a lawyer. So send it to Daryl. And then Send It to Daryl literally went viral. Everybody was saying Send It to Daryl. So many people bought her merch. So much so that she ended up buying the house next to Sheena in Palm Springs with the sales of her merch. At least that's the story, right? But then she said, that's kind of funny because Lala pretty much stole that house out from underneath Brock. And I was like, stole the house out from underneath Brock? She's like, that's a story for a different time. And I'm like, I got to ask about this one. Again, guys, it's still so early on the West Coast, but I got to ask some Vanderpump Rules cast members, producer, whoever we talk to. I am curious about that. You're saying, Brock, Lala stole your goddamn house? Like, it's like, Kim stole my goddamn house, right? Or it was Kyle. Whatever, you guys get the point, but that was news to me. I did not see that one coming. I don't know if I fully believe that either. I feel like there's a lot more to that story. But wait, there's more. Okay. She said that she's happy that she got treatment because they taught her a lot about the different kinds of shame and how people projected their insecurities onto her. Now, Bethenny asked her, did we discuss the dog? Like, do we discuss the dog? Is the dog a big deal? Like, what's going on with the dog? And Raquel was like, did we not discuss the dog yet? Which obviously makes you know that this was something where Bethenny gave her a space. I'm sure allowed her to know her points, to be comfortable, to be on point in this conversation. And she knew that Graham was coming up. But I think that makes it almost, as a viewer, as a listener, I think you would look at this and be like, oh, did you prep for this? Did you sort of rehearse what you were going to say so you could have everything right? And you've already talked about Graham while you were rehearsing, so you couldn't remember in this moment if you talked about him while you were rehearsing or while you were actually filming the real podcast. That's how it sounds and feels. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm saying that's how it feels. She said, Graham has a history of aggression and biting people. Graham bit her mom down to the bone, and her mom couldn't even get stitches. She chose to stay in the meadows and focus on herself instead of coming home to take care of Graham, because she had an option. You either come home and take your dog, or you stay in there, you focus on yourself, and we're going to find a breed-specific rescue that is going to take on Graham and do their best to rehome him. Well, that's what she did. They couldn't rehome Graham, though, because Graham's aggression was really, like, from what she's saying, intense. He bites. He's a biter. But this part was a little strange to me. She said she found out because the photos came up of James with Graham, right? And this is when they were away on their trip to Lake Tahoe. And what happened was, when Graham went into the breed-specific rescue, they ended up scanning his microchip. Well, they saw her name as Raquel Leviss, Rachel Leviss, and they associated her with Vanderpump Rules. So they reached out to Lisa Vanderpump, and Lisa Vanderpump came and adopted Graham. However, Lisa apparently was never supposed to be contacted because this was supposed to be completely confidential. And that's not how it was done. This is all, there's always three sides to every story, but this is her side of that story. And she said, when I found out that Graham went to James, like James had Graham back, I was devastated because James is part of the reason that Graham is so aggressive. James used to encourage him to bite his hand, and he loved the sensation of it. And I'm like, Not he loved the sensation of Graham biting his hand. What the hell are we talking about now? Oh, but wait, there's more. So she said that they're using this dog situation to literally further this villain narrative. She said she also regrets a lot and would do everything differently. But also, when it came to the whole Graham situation, so we can button that up really quick, she ended up contacting Lisa to let Lisa know, hey, listen, Graham should not be with James. James is not a good dog dad. James doesn't know how to care for a dog. Like, he really should not be with James. And Lisa was like, well, why don't you come to Villa Rosa and film a final scene and we'll clear this all up and you can come and you can apologize for leaving and we can do, that in the filming moment. And Raquel said, I feel like they used Graham as bait to get me back and it really almost worked. Like I almost went back. She said the silver lining for her is that she's able to learn about herself and give forgiveness and maybe eventually help people in the future. She would never go back to reality television. She did say that, and she refuses to not respect herself and endure that sort of abuse. They did ask her back, but she didn't think that she would even get in a redemption arc. She's like, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to get a redemption arc. The editing of it, I will probably get 5 minutes to say anything, and it's going to be condensed, and that's not fair. So she didn't want to do that. And then she, at one point, did consider coming back, but her request was, I want equal pay to Tom and Ariana. And she also wanted her treatment paid for. If they would have paid her equally, she felt like in that workplace, it means that you value me. So I wanted to be paid the same that they were being paid. Now, as of right now, she still has a no contact policy with every single cast member. But Bethenny did ask, one, do you think that the cast took this too far? And two, has anybody contacted you? She said, I think that they're doing their jobs and this makes for great TV. And I get like they're making money and whatever. But she said, Lala reached out to me on Instagram and she said that she'd lend an ear. But I know that she's doing that because she's trying to selfishly take Randall down. And this just contributes to that narrative. She, again, said that she reached out to Lisa and Lisa did try to persuade her, but she didn't end up going back, obviously. But when Bethenny said, who wants you back? She said, Lala and Lisa want me back. And Tom emailed me twice. She felt like everyone involved had ulterior motives and they really don't genuinely care about her well-being. As of now, she's taking the steps to start her own podcast and wants to make it about self-help with bringing on experts to explain the psychology behind it all. To normalize, make it a conversation like if you're the other woman, if you're the other man, if you're the mistress or the mister, sort of giving a voice to that and understanding the psychology behind it. She said that she feels like this is an untapped market and this is a way for her to be able to tell her story, have control over her story. And that's it. That's that with that. She said no one wants to talk about being the other woman. And now she also added, I would love to have a healthy relationship, but right now I'm just trying to break my toxic pattern. Right now I'm just trying to water my houseplants and take care of them and myself. And that's the best that I can do. But Bethenny did mention that she flew to Arizona to go see her because Bethenny wanted her to be comfortable. And she's like, I didn't know if you were going to back out, if you were not, if you were going to get cold feet. And I just know that everybody's been like pressuring you. So I decided to go to Arizona. I flew to you and here we are. And then, whatever the case is, like I ended up coming to you. This is the conversation. This is what we're doing. Yeah. She's like, if you ever want to come to the Hamptons and, hang out and see me, I live by the beach and you can do that. And what do you like? Are you going back to LA? Where are you going? And she's like, no, I'm going to travel around and visit different cities and do that. But I'm not going to LA anytime soon. Okay, guys. 1, she's got to go wash this face. 2, I want to know what the hell you think about all of this because there were a lot of major points in that. From the Lala to the Graham to the Lisa to the you stole Brock's house? Is that even true? I got to know the backstory to that. I have to. Go ahead and comment below. And again, in the comment section, just look right under this video. We are going to pin the link to the live at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. You guys will not want to miss it. Jason and I are putting a button on this, and apparently so did Bethenny. So yeah, do all the YouTube things, smash that like button, show it all, and we'll see you in literally a few hours. Love you.